Well, with the sunshine truly shining on Leith and the sun setting on a famous Belgian waffle, desserts are officially suspended in Govan and they've replaced them with some absolute fairy cakes. Morg, roll the intro.
Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome back to the Football Big Podcast, episode 21 of season 4. My name is Fennan, and joining alongside me, a man who has really got me in the mood for some fairy cakes now, craving them. Mayhem, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm good, mate. I'm in mourning. I had a research on Amazon today, see if I could get myself a black armband. Wouldn't have been here, unfortunately, so I can't represent, the fact that we're mourning the loss of such a colossal character within Scottish football. And so, from chest pumps and moral victories all the way to Queen's Park and another trophyless season. Philippe Clement, least we forget you, son. Don't worry. You'll always have a special place in our hearts, right next to Pedro Caixinha. You're right there, mate. Well done.
Pedro Caixinha, Christ almighty. And Paul Le Guen as well. Honourable mention.
He was proper undercover. We'll not forget
He was
Paul.
proper shit as well, mate.
But yeah, considering what happened at Easter Road, and I thought this is going to be a long pod on Monday. It's just going to be a little bit ranty and ravey, and we lose. And in typical shitebag fashion, nothing changes, and we're still 13 points clear because our arseholes fell out of them. So, yeah, it's gone from pretty downbeat and somber to absolutely hysterical. And they've sacked him, which is fair enough. He was pretty shit. But the replacements, we'll get on to that.
We'll get on to that. But this is going to be, these kind of episodes don't come around very often where Celtic have come off the back of a defeat. We'll start off midweek, Champions League action, the return leg at the Allianz Arena. Nicholas Kuhn with an hour mark opener definitely gave us some hope. But then it was a storm to weather even. Leroy Sané at the death puts Bayern through and was heartbreaking to watch, but I know we spoke and you obviously would think differently in terms of hypothetically what if the game did go to extra time. But it's fair to say it was a valiant effort at the very least, and it then, talking about Easter Road, just felt like it was still a bit of a hangover from that European exit.
Bayern Munich was a fantastic performance, and it certainly sets a benchmark for what we can do away from home in Europe, which has never really been our strength in recent history. And when we look back on the game and the clear cut, we should be out of sight. We really should. Maeda, a couple of great opportunities. Callum McGregor goes through. Nicholas Kuhn has one at the back post. That's all before we score. Yes, I know Harry Kane hits the bar and they have a couple of shots, but we should have been out of sight. Then, like you said, Nicholas Kuhn puts us in front and we dare to dream. But I always felt that we had to win it in 90 minutes. Brendan didn't want to use much of the bench, and I think if we'd have gone into extra time, we'd have really struggled to keep that pace going. And then, as you said, right at the death there, Alphonso Davies kind of ricochets the ball over the line to send Bayern.
Why do you thinking it was Leroy Sané? Yeah, it was Alphonso Davies. Fuck's sake.
Did he cross it, Sané, maybe?
I think Sané, sure. He crossed the ball in, and then I think it's Kane's header who's...
No, Kane was off.
Was he off at that point?
Yeah, Schmeichel makes obviously a really good save. Kartvik is trying to clear it, ricochets in. And it's tough to take, but we just didn't have the same impetus. Bayern definitely stepped it up after the goal. We didn't have the same impetus or the same control in the game. But, what a colossal performance from everyone on the pitch. I thought Arnie Engels played well. I thought Schlupp dealt with Elise very well.
That was a good call to make last week as well, by the way. with shots flying.
Fucking football manager IQ up here.
Big
we know
brain.
correct. Yeah, and Maeda absolutely working his socks off and ran himself into the ground. Nicholas Kuhn looked like he had maybe injured himself and he had to go off. Alistair Johnson was fantastic. A little bit scary how good he was, really, because I hope there aren't many scouts there.
Maybe just Bayern ones.
Hopefully not. Yeah, and then there was a distinctive drop in the substitutions. Yang coming onto the field is a massive downgrade on Nicholas Kuhn. Obviously, Adam Eder come on, didn't really have much to do. And I know there's going to be a common theme here, and if there's any of them watching, then they'll say, cheated, never defeated, and all this carry on pish. But before you put that in the comments, right, you raging little bears, right? Let me cover the full segment, okay? Because we'll get on to Hibs, and then we'll get on to referees, right? Let me cover it all, right? Before you go raging, you bears. But the rules of football have gone, right? Just the basic rules of football, they've gone. They've vanished. They've disappeared, right? Maeda gets elbowed in the head. Whether it is a foul, whether it's intentional, whether it's not, whatever. He's been elbowed in the fucking head. Why don't we stop play? Why before the goal? Why isn't play stopped? These are top officials. This is a UEFA competition. You've got 27 fucking cameras everywhere. You can tell if someone's a fucking toenail offside. But you can't say, right, stop the game, there's a head injury, and he's been elbowed in the fucking head. Again, whether or not it's intentional or not, whatever. And then obviously they go down and they score. And like I said, I'm not sure it would have made too much difference because of our reluctance to go to the bench and the strength that they're bringing Alphonso Davies off the bench, Leroy Sané off the bench. It's a fucking piss take. But look, we come out with our heads held high. I don't think we lost the tie in Germany, in Munich. I think it was the first 60 minutes in Glasgow where we probably sat off a little bit too much, didn't get out and give him a little bit too much respect. And we found ourselves 2-0 down. If we'd have treated the first leg, maybe like the second leg, then maybe we could have got something different. But I guess we learned from the first leg and implemented that in the second leg. Overall, a really good performance. But at the end of the day, we lose. Hibs comes around. Within 2 minutes, we're 1-0 down. Just a straight ball, really, through the middle of the park.
Cutting very easy.
Schmeichel, no chance. And not really a lot offered back from us in the first half. And then a ball whipped in. Again, Campbell gets up between the two defenders, heads it in. Schmeichel can't really do anything about it. It gets flagged for offside. It isn't offside. VAR gets involved and the goal is correctly awarded. And then we make the changes at half time. Bring on Jota. Schlupp comes back in. And Hatate comes on. And we push forward far better in the second half. The first goal is really weird. Jota kind of cuts it back to Hatate. He goes to swing and shoot it, loops up Maeda, kind of pokes it in.
Yeah.
And then we think we've got an equalizer. So Arnie Engels has the ball out wide, cuts back, plays a little diagonal ball up the line to Alistair Johnson. Alistair Johnson looks like he's got there just as the ball is sort of halfway out, halfway in, crosses it back, fumbles around Maeda, pokes it in 2-2. On-field decision, goal. That's the thing to remember here. On-field decision, goal. Step forward, Alan Muir. What a cunt. Right, the lino, who's fucking 10 yards away from the incident, doesn't flag. The referee that's on the pitch doesn't flag. Very few of the players, if you watch it back, are appealing for the ball to be out until, obviously, the goal goes in, which tells you something straight away. And Alan Moore thinks he's made a factual... No, you haven't made a factual decision. There is no fucking camera angle that makes that a factual decision, Alan Moore. So let me tell you something. We haven't got enough angles to have factual decisions with offsides, mate. We haven't even got enough fucking angles to have factual decisions with offsides. you're telling me you've got a factual decision there. They couldn't do it up in fucking St James's Park in the Premier League. A little Easter Road with Alan Moore using the fucking remote control. You found a factual decision. No, you haven't. You're a rat, right? You're a rat. You need fucking exterminating from the referee industry. You need fucked off, right? Absolute diabolical. Same in the Tottenham game as well, right? It's absolutely irrelevant because Tottenham are 3-1 up, but Greaves and Scarlett go up for a head knock. Greaves goes down. Ref plays on. It's a head injury, right? It's so fucking simple. Just stop the game, right? The refs. This needs more calling out. I don't give a shit about the PGML, whatever the fuck they are, or the SFA. Right? Protect. Fuck refs. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm convinced now, right, that if we're making decisions like we don't need a little prick running around in black. We can just be refereed by fucking robots, right? We have absolutely no use for these intolerant, fucking abysmal pricks, right? And just to absolutely clarify, right, that this isn't oh, it's a Celtic thing, right? The referees at Ibrox, shit, right? Absolutely fucking shit. Grant Irvine, again on VAR, shit. Dog shit. And Kevin Clancy as well. Igamane is sent off. Apparently he can't slide tackle in football anymore. Sent off for a slide tackle. Kevin Clancy, bang, the red card comes out. Grant Irvine goes, you may want to go to the screen because that's a shit decision. Away he goes, sees it back, and he goes, yeah, it was shit. Rescinds the red card. Absolutely 100% the correct decision. And then St Mirren score their goal. I forget the boy's name, but whatever, the big fucking lump that plays up top for them. The ball comes over the top of whatever bum fuck centre back they've got at the back at the moment, Rangers. Comes over his left shoulder. He's running. The striker clearly clips the back of his heel, right? Which then makes his foot hit the back of his leg and go down. He then runs onto the ball, scores. Kevin Clancy gets probably the one thing he got right on the day, blows up for a free kick. Grant Irvine sends him over to the monitor. Again, right? Where he then overrules and gives the goal because we don't have enough fucking angles to decipher that this striker has clipped this guy's fucking heels, which everyone in the ground can see, which is blatantly obvious to every fucking player on the park, to the fucking thousands in attendance and the millions watching at home, and we don't have enough fucking angles to sort this out on VAR. And you're telling me Alan Moore can fucking tell me that a ball is out where he wriggles around with his little controller? They need fucking gone. It's beyond solvable, right? Absolutely beyond solvable. Refs are scared to make decisions, and those wee pricks sitting in a box, right, that aren't at the ground, that are making decisions, have absolutely no consequence at all. They just do whatever the fuck they want. But you see it in the Premier League, Martin Skelly gets sent off. It's clearly last man. I mean, it's the easiest fucking decision you're going to get. He books him because he's scared to make a fucking decision. And then he has to be referred to the monitor, and eventually they get it right. But we're wasting all this time for referees to just do their job. As Roy Keane says, it's your job, right? If we were as shit at our job as they are, we'd all be getting P45s in the mail. No cunt would be complaining because we know we're fucking doing 100%. Shit. Something, it needs ripped down and rebuilt. And whether it's with foreign refs or whether you just got them, I don't know, right? But seldom do we have a weekend where we can say the refs have done well, and that is beyond fair. And we'll finish on, I don't know who the fucking prick was at Home Park, and we'll obviously get onto that a little later. But that red card is never a red card.
Thank you. Oh, Christ!
Even if he fouls him, right? Even if he fouls him, which is debatable. Right, because guess what? The Championship don't have enough fucking angles, but no, they ain't got VAR. So we're moving on. I'm not bitter, right? Even if he doesn't get there's a defender literally next to him. Like the letter of the law, there is. He's not last man.
He's not last man. He isn't. That was the sole argument. Thinking about that replay, is he last man? He's not.
Are you denying a goal scoring opportunity? Well, who fucking knows with the touch that guy's gone? There's so many variables in it. It cannot be a red card, and this is just the basic implementation of rules that they get wrong on a week-to-week basis. It has gone. It is absolutely gone. I am bewildered, absolutely bewildered by the decisions that are hugely affecting football clubs, right? Again, the Ipswich game is gone, but if that happens, if that incident happens at 1-1, the ref is still going to play on, right? If that incident happens where Greaves goes up for the header and he goes down, you're then basically maybe taking away someone's Premiership status, English Premier status. With Cardiff, you're potentially taking away someone's Championship status. It doesn't really matter in the Celtic game because we're so far ahead. But again, I guess at Ibrox, well, they probably still would have lost the game 1-0 because they went on to lose the game 2-0. So again, but maybe the game's a little bit different, and maybe they cut the lead down to 10 points, and maybe in some.
It's no excuse to make the wrong decision, though. This is
Like,
the thing.
it
Like,
is,
sorry, I don't have a cup of tea every day. Does it give Marie an excuse to shit in the kettle because I'm not gonna have a cup of tea? It's like, don't worry, you ain't gonna have it. Like, it's just.
it is, it is beyond now, and what we need to do. And it will never happen, right? It will never happen because Celtic and Rangers fans can absolutely agree on nothing, right? Because we're too busy laughing at each other. Because it's fucking funny, right? When they lose, it's funny as fuck, right? When they miss penalties against Queen's Park, not Queen of the South, we've been there. It's funny as fuck, right? We all make mistakes. 2 weeks ago, we've seen that. Look, hold your hands up, made a mistake. These cunts do not get enough problems. The Everton game, Ashley Young maybe he makes a bit much of his shirt being pulled, but his shirt was pulled. And again, well, Harry Maguire hasn't committed the foul. It doesn't matter, mate. You've got about 12 angles to see that fucking Delit is pulling his shirt.
Yeah.
Like, what is going if VAR cannot be implemented and used correctly within the English Premier League, right? It should be nowhere else in Britain. It should be nowhere near Scottish football. It should be nowhere near the Championship. Obviously, I know it isn't, but how long
Keep it
before
that
they
way,
start
but...
talking about that, right? It should be nowhere near the English Football League structure. It should be nowhere near Scottish League football, right? If it can't work in the Premiership in England, in the English Premiership, then we have no hope, right? Bin it. Bin the little men like Grant Irvine and Alan Moore fucking wiggling a remote trying to come up with a fucking reason not to award the goal, right? Pump the money into automated offsides, keep goal line technology, right, and go back to ref in the game. Now I know I just slated them, right, and they will still be shit. But what we won't, what we
It
will get
just
back,
enhances how shit they are, even with
yeah.
VAR.
But at least we'll get back a bit of passion. At least we'll get back a bit of in the moment celebration.
Yeah.
Like at least we'll be gaining from it because at the moment we gain fuck all. What do we gain from this? The odd time that a goal gets chalked out, like, obviously Hibs will probably come away from the game thinking VAR is a good thing until it shits on them in a couple of weeks because you're in Scotland and they're using this. My final piece on it is bin all the refs, burn it to the ground, and piss on it. All right, and seriously think about
I'd happily play lightsabers with you pissing on them. Those
like
ashes.
like seriously think about the structure of refereeing in Scotland because it is abysmal. Whether or not you say, the refs favour Celtic or the refs favour Rangers, whatever, or the refs favour both of them if you're from any, if you don't support Celtic Rangers, I'm sure you say, they favour both of us, whatever. Just the matter of the fact is they're shit. They're shit for everyone. Like the level of officiating is appalling, right? And it costs teams time and time again. Like just because this week it hasn't been your team, and I'm being vocal because it's my team, we'll look back, right? I imagine at some point in the season, every team has suffered from the fucking incredible consistency of them being dog shit. Like it is ridiculous. And again, Michael Oliver is branded as the best referee in the English Premier League in the best league in the world, and you only have to look back to the red card that you give Martin Lewis Skelett. Like that's meant to be your top guy. That's meant to be the guy.
Speaks volumes, though, doesn't it?
That's what I mean. Like, and their guys, they're full time refs. They're doing it full time. I know that the refs up in Scotland are part time. Problem number one, right? That these fucking these gentlemen aren't full-time refs, so that they have a fucking another job and they have to manage and balance it all. And this is what you get left with. These moronic figures that are at the top of the Scottish game and decide that this is enough. But how many times we talk about John Beaton? This time it's Alan Moore. Next week it would be Kevin Clancy. Then it would be Dickinson. Insert prick here, right? They're just all the same fucking person with a different face.
From every division.
Right? It's just about we have to protect refs. Fuck them. Absolutely fuck them. Start trialing games with robots. Right? We've got all the technology, right? Start trialing games where a robot is reffing it. Like, why do we need refs? Let's hold them accountable, right?
Yeah.
We could have yous gone in 3 years if you don't get fucking better, if you don't get fitter, sharper, up with the game, make decisions. But surely there's a scoring system at Sunday League level. You score the ref, right? You score the ref on his fitness, on the decisions. Surely that happens, right, in professional football, right? If a ref is scored consistently lower than a 7, which the Scottish refs must be consistently lower than a 7 every week, right? Then they should be binned. So fuck if they've been doing it for 10 years. Bin them. There has to be someone else out there, right? There has to be. And if not, go abroad.
Or even just like, I think we spoke about it last week about like how there should be a system. If they get a poor review from the game, then you demote them to the tier below.
It is actually petrifying to me to think what's lower than this, though. In England, I think it's a fair because they build up in the Championship.
Lower than that, you give them the fucking boot, mate.
So I think top refs dropping down in England, it kind of level, but it petrifies me. There's very rarely any new refs introduced.
Michael Oliver should be at Dover next week.
But like in Scotland, there's very rarely new refs introduced, so it petrifies me. What's waiting underneath, like what's coming up through the ranks, and if we demote, so I just think we go abroad. Just fuck it, man. Just let's go rent some other refs.
Let's ship them off to somewhere in Eastern Europe where they get shot or chased around by fucking German shepherds if they get a fucking penalty decision wrong.
Right. Let's bring some refs in from abroad, man, because this is getting out of hand, and I know, right? If you took away the colours, right, and you sat down a fan from every single team in the SPFL, right, and we knew nothing about each other, we didn't know what teams we supported, right, and you just asked questions, and one of them was, is the level of officiating good enough in Scotland? Every single fan from every single club would say no. Right, but because we're too busy laughing, it's funny when Hibs laugh at Hearts because it's top banter, and then Hearts and Aberdeen laugh at Rangers, and we do, and they laugh, right? It's all banter, right? Until it happens to you, and you realise that it's absolutely unacceptable, and it's something that it needs addressing, and it needs addressing formally. It needs addressing by the clubs, right? Statement FC are fucking fantastic at it, right? But they've obviously had to issue another statement of a different kind. So I don't know if they've been able to push out their one about,
oh God, not another open letter. Fuck me.
But and hold these guys accountable, because it can't continue. It's absolutely disgusting. And to think in seasons gone by, you could be deciding titles with these incompetent morons in charge of games, literally deciding which way a title falls. Luckily enough, this year we don't have to worry about that, because even when we lose, they shit the bed. But
not wrong.
Just I'm flabbergasted, to be honest, by the decision. Like, and I know that again, people will say it's only because you're a club, and I get that, but for them to call that a factual decision, right? And again, when we're looking, they couldn't call it a factual decision in the World Cup. They couldn't call it a factual decision when it was Newcastle Arsenal in the English Premier League, and we think we're better than them. Right? And this is where there needs to be accountability. Alan Muir needs to be approached and needs to be asked, how did you come to this decision? Because we need to understand, as a football club, right? We need to understand why that has been disallowed against. If it isn't just blatant incompetence and arrogance and ego that you think you can make that call when it's clear, it's absolutely clear that there is some, ambiguity in that call. So it's not clear and obvious. So you shouldn't be getting involved anyway.
Have him mic'd up.
Well, yeah, but release,
But then, release a statement after the game as well.
It's the famous quote from Across the City, but release the audio. Let's hear it. I mean, let's hear what it is. And again, minute impact on the season, but it's about time that these things were addressed and called out by all fans at all levels, because no doubt down in the Championship, in the Scottish Championship, they're dealing with this shit. And further down the football pyramid, we're dealing with just the absolute rancidness that runs through this. And of course, even, the answer isn't send them full time, apparently, because again, look at England and look at the shit that is coming off there. Right? It's mad to think, right, that after everything that happened, right, in 2025, David Coates is not really the referee under the spotlight.
No.
I mean, so just let him sniff what he wants and shag what he wants. It doesn't fucking matter.
But let's football matters, mate. Let's not dwindle too much on how shit referees are at every level of, in this game. You're in action again tomorrow night. Celtic Park, Aberdeen at home. Really good opportunity to get back to winning ways. Continue to maintain, if not increase, that lead you have over Rangers, who have, as recent as yesterday, sacked Philippe Clement.
Sad times.
It was coming. I mean, I know, like you said, sad times, because everything's going so swimmingly at the moment for Celtic, but it was nothing short of inevitable.
I just think, like I said, the guy was Comedy Central for every other fan in the Premiership, barring Rangers fans, I imagine. Just completely out of tune. This was a fella they were saying gets it, right? And
seems to be a common theme with every manager that comes from
pumping his chest at draws. This guy gets it. Like, you've drawn, right? You get that. Yeah, but some of the stuff he's come out with, and it's just absolute bull. Their away form has been shocking this season, like utterly shocking. And St Mirren going there and winning is a little bit of a surprise, but not really. Not overly. I wasn't completely and utterly shocked like you would have been, like roll back, 3-4 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. You was if that result happened, you were surprised. You were surprised if Hearts would go there and get a result. Hibs, Motherwell. But in recent times, we've fucking seen Hamilton win there. We've seen Queen's Park win there.
Not Queen's South, just
not. And St Mirren there, and it isn't a shock in the slightest, really. What is a shock is
who they brought in.
Yeah, the route they've chosen to go. I don't quite understand it. I mean, hopefully they've got absolute staunch heads on Brown Brogues for brains, and Barry Ferguson with a backroom staff of Billy Dodds, Alan McGregor, and Neil McCann. Like, just make us Protestant again. Right? It's fucking mental. I think this is Barry Ferguson, who's managed the likes of Clyde and not done great, Alloa and done really shite. Now he's got the second biggest job in the country. Okay, just till the end of the season, but you are still trusting this guy to take training, set up a team, and be in charge of Rangers Football Club, which is.
Looks like the board have gone for the cheap option. That sounds familiar, doesn't it?
I wonder why. No, but don't worry. There's big investment around the corners from the San Francisco 69ers or whatever they're coming in to save them because that takeover is impending. So with all the money on the horizon, they've gone for Barry Ferguson, Billy Dance, Alan McGregor. I mean, I don't even know what the equivalent would be for us. The equivalent feels like it'd be Chris Sutton, John Hartson, Henrik Larsson, Stilian Petrov. Come on down.
You know what I mean?
Take us through to the end of the season.
Let's be more cat-like.
Henrik Larsson managed a couple of games in Sweden for Helsingborg, so he'd get the gaffer job, and the rest of them, can just cut about the training ground.
I'm sure he didn't do as much as a bad job as what Barry Ferguson did at fucking, who is it, Clyde and Alloa.
We were pissed when Neil Lennon was announced as our manager, right? We were pissed with that, and this is a guy that had won league titles for us and beaten Barcelona, and we were pissed with that. These guys are absolutely mopping it up, drinking out of their loving cup and fucking wanking over their bicycle that sits in the trophy room because they've got back Big Bazza, Shagger, as they refer to Alan McGregor because he's a rapist.
Oh, Christ.
Billy Dodds and Neil McCann, who has the driest analysis on sports scene and has just most recently said that the Maeda goal should have stood. So I'm sure he's in great. I bet he's in all the staunch good books. You seen the fucking goal for them? Should have stood for you. So
I'm more intrigued to hear more about these San Francisco 69ers. Sounds like a cult that David Coote's part of. But...
well, yeah, the NFL team, apparently that franchise is rumoured that they're going to be investing in Rangers. So who knows? Since that rumour's come out, they've subsequently been their manager and brung in literally the discounted manager aisle. Who can we get as cheap as possible? And Barry was there. He's just working for self-esteem. He's not even being paid.
Yeah, do you take self-esteem?
He's just being paid in Protestant chants. So the Billy Boys just rings out every morning, and that's his payment. No Pope of Rome's kicking about, and that's him hard as fuck dancing into work. I mean, what an absolute joke of an appointment. I don't give a fuck, right? Even if you win a few games or what a fucking joke. Like. And if his name wasn't Barry Ferguson, they'd be frothing at the mouth that the ex-Alloa manager has got the job.
I'm pretty sure they left ex-Alloa out as well in the announcement.
Alloa referred to him as sacked employee. Did not leave by mutual consent. We've been that cunt.
Christ almighty. Right. Yeah, I don't know what their game plan is. Fall further behind. Maybe, record for the biggest gap between Celtic.
I think if, across the last number of years, if we know one thing, is that they absolutely don't have a game plan, whether it's delivering trophies or paying face painters. They have no fucking. They have absolutely no plan whatsoever.
Yeah, the chairman, I'll be the fucking chairman.
So, yeah, I mean, this may be the best chapter of the banter years that there's ever been, because they're so staunch. I mean, it's a club legend, the same way that Riali McCoist was too. He didn't want to take a pay cut, but they all
Yeah, he
seem to
got put
forget
on
about that now.
gardening leave.
They all seem to forget about that now. Big Ali, we love him. Yeah, I mean it's an absolute lose-lose for. But what standards can you set? Like, you've lost the league, right? You're out of everything domestically. You've been drawn against Fenerbahce in the Europa League, which is a difficult task.
Mourinho's Fenerbahce.
I think they've binned Clement just because he pissed Mourinho off.
When was this?
Clement saying that he respects Mourinho, but he prefers a more attacking type of football. Clement, you've barely won a manager of the month, mate, since you've been up here. Like, shut your mouth, right? Show the guys some fucking respect.
Deflate that ego of yours, mate, and know your place.
Closest you got to the Champions League is when you got battered off a probably fucking Nice in 2043 on Football Manager, so shush. But we wish him all the best. I hope the Belgian waffler comes back in some resemblance, because I really did used to like his interviews.
Oh God, I have him as a pundit next to Chris Boyd next week probably.
I don't think so. I think Chris Boyd would actually fucking headbutt him. Like, I think that Lego Muncher would lose.
That'd be a scrap to see, wouldn't it?
It would, like, Chris Sutton in the middle of him with his cheeky grin, just holding off the frothing Chris Boyd and the Belgian waffler. I imagine it would be like a fucking US election debate.
Oh Christ, yeah.
Fucking Chris Boyd as Trump and Clement there as fucking Biden, just a little bit dizzy and doesn't know what's going on.
Oh, exactly. Oh, shout myself again.
Make Rangers great again! Make Rangers great again!
I'm not even going to try and do a Clement impression. Fuck that. But as you said, a new chapter opens.
On the banter years, it 100% does.
Yeah. And yet we're still on the same old shitty chapter down in South Wales, aren't we? Literally, the page is smeared in shit. And to open up this segment, like we'll get on to Home Park and Plymouth in a moment, right? Take this for a statistic, right? The last 20 games, Cardiff have won 3, lost 5, drawn 12. And it's starting to really bite us back in the arse with all these results in the past. Drawing away to Stoke, Coventry at home and away. Of course, there was, obviously there was a referee who wanted to be the star of the show in that game as well when he sent Rubber off for an elbow. Watford at home, couldn't see the game out. They're starting to bite us back in the arse now, because we wouldn't be in this situation if we managed to see those games out and come away with 3 points. But no, we dropped points left, right and centre, and look at us now. 3 points above the drop, and we had 2 points snatched from us this past Saturday. After it was a great start. It was nice to see Yusuf Salek get on the score sheet again. Nice to show that he's really demonstrating that striker's instinct to get himself in the right place in the right time. Sweeps home, puts us 1-0 up. All right, here we go. Good start.
Obviously a big darts fan as well.
Big darts fan as well. I'd shag Yusuf Salek. Anyway, things were going swimmingly. Going to the break, 1-0 up. I thought, right, let's go and kill off this game. Plymouth, by all means, weren't going to sit back either. Obviously, they're in a worse spot than we are. And then all of a sudden, the ball comes over the top, and can't remember his name off the back of my head, but Gutas goes shoulder to shoulder with him. He kind of nudges himself in front, and Gutas clips him, gives him a bit of a shoulder, and is shown a straight red. And this is 8 minutes into the second half. Just killed the game completely. And it's not last man. I'm sorry. If Gutas and Bagan are literally sandwiching him, it's not a last man scenario. He hasn't got a clear cut chance on goal. He's got a lot of work to do. I mean, hypothetically, he needs to take another touch and then set himself. And whether he gets to do that or not, whether Jack Hannock comes out and makes a save, whether Gutas outmuscles him or Bagan comes across to make a tackle, you cannot determine that to be a last man scenario. I'm sorry, you just can't. And it's never a red. Absolutely never a red. Completely killed the game off. And then, yeah, it was only inevitable that Plymouth were going to go get an equaliser, then we just chuck 8-9 men behind the ball and then just hoof it forward. And that's exactly how the game went. It was nice to see Isaac Davies make his return. I think that was one nice positive as well to take from the game apart, along with Salek's goal. But the magnitude of tomorrow's game against Hull is just amplified 100 times more. I cannot describe how fucking important this game is that we need to pick up 3 points from. And we're in a really fucking shit spot at the moment. We're down to the bare bones in defence. We've got Gutas now suspended. Bagan went off injured as well shortly after the equaliser.
Are they appealing the red?
I'm pretty sure they will. I haven't come across anything about it. But by all means, yeah, we should absolutely appeal that red card. But, as things stand, it's a 3-game ban for Gutas. Darlan's still on the sideline. So we're left to the bare bones. I can imagine Rees will now be forced to deploy NG as centre-back again. We've still got Will Fish who can come in. But then apart from that, it's going to have to be like makeshift individuals being played out of position. And so, yeah, tomorrow's going to be incredibly difficult. The injury list, as much as it has improved in the likes of Isaac Davies coming back. Robbo was a doubt for Saturday, so I'm sure he'll be at least on the bench come tomorrow night. Same with Robertson. Callum Chambers is still unknown, but apart from that, it's mainly just our defence that we've got to struggle with. I've heard Annick's also a doubt as well now. He picked up a knock. He was clutching his calf at one point during the game on Saturday. So, yeah, it's all up in the air in terms of what the team's going to look like come tomorrow night. But, yeah, like I said, this is, it doesn't get any more important than it does now. 3 points is, very fine margins in terms of whether we stay up or go down at the moment. Hull will be well up for it, especially after the great result they got on the weekend, beating Sunderland at the Stadium of Light. And so, by all means, it's we've got to be on it from the first whistle. We just got to take every opportunity that comes our way and see a game out if it does get to that point in the game where we're a goal ahead and it's just fucking don't concede. Please don't concede. And then after Hull, it only gets more difficult for us. We had our opportunities, we had our chances to, gain points over fellow strugglers around us in the table at the moment, and we quite frankly haven't taken those chances. And so I don't know, mate. I'm concerned. This is probably the most concerned I've been since Bullet was last in charge. And yeah, we've got a fucking mountain to climb at the moment.
Yeah, it's looking more and more precarious as the weeks drift by, especially the fact that we said February was so important. You maximise these games against the strugglers because of the games that you've got coming up, and teams at the sharp end. Yeah, it's I think Luton is in there as well. That'll be another huge game. Yeah. But I think West Brom, Burnley,
Sheffield United are in that mix. Norwich on the last day. It only gets more difficult for us. Gets more difficult, and we've utterly failed in terms of picking up maximum points against these sides. And yeah, there was always that fear in the back of my head where it was like, again, Reza, his team selection and his game management is always, a cause for concern week in, week out. And it, goes to show that the cheap option always tends to produce cheap results. And, right now, I don't see us getting ourselves out of it. I think it all really depends on what happens tomorrow night, and if we don't come away with the result we need, yeah, we're in big trouble, mate. We're in utterly big trouble. We're looking at Burton away next season at this rate.
Yeah, it is. It is looking more and more dire as the weeks go on. But like you said, tomorrow, monumentally big game. And it needs to. We need to see the same Cardiff that we see on the South Wales derby.
Exactly.
That's the level that we need to see. Really utilise some of these attacking options. The likes of Alves and Willock and Ashford, and these guys need to turn up. Need to put in real big performances. El Ghazi, if he starts, like you said, when you're on the bare bones, right, and you know that Hull are going to be sharp on the counter attack with the likes of Louis Barry and stuff like that. So you've got to look after the ball. Really dictate the ball. Really put them under pressure, because this could be pivotal to securing championship status for next season, because it's difficult to see, really a game that you aren't massive underdogs in, barring the Luton game, through March. It's difficult. I think Wednesday's even in there as well, and they're doing
Wednesday at home. We've got Blackburn away as well. Always a tough place to go to, Ewood Park. Away to Sunderland. Away to Queen's Park Rangers. We're shit at Loftus Road usually as well. Preston away at Deepdale. Home to Stoke. That's winnable on paper. Oxford at home, winnable. But then, West Brom, Norwich, Sheffield United. This is it. We've got to fucking make the most of these. And I really hope that the knocks that were picked up by from Bagan, hoping Darland is back as well. I'm hoping they're not too severe, because they're going to be pivotal for us as well in that back line.
Yeah, it's time to put up or shut up now.
Yeah, exactly. And then of course on Friday as well, FA Cup action. Never thought I'd be saying that in this time of the year. Away to Villa, so that's our little honeymoon fixture. And I mean, who knows? It could prove to be another stepping stone for us in the right direction, depending on how everything goes tomorrow night. A bit of rotation on Friday, put in a valiant performance, and then sky's the limit at that point, and it's just going full throttle. High risk, high reward.
Yeah. It's difficult times down in South Wales, but you need, seeing these runs, right? Your home form needs to be, a fortress. Your home ground, you need to be solid, tough to beat.
Yeah.
Which, in fairness, you have been. There's but too many draws in there, and draws this time of the season just aren't going to be enough, especially because in the Championship, teams will pick up results.
Yeah.
Like Hull City, away at the stadium, like no one see that coming. Derby were incredibly unlucky as well. Like they nearly pinched a point. Millwall obviously beating them in the 95th minute. So teams will pick up points, and Plymouth are they're on a good run as well, where they're picking up points. Obviously, they felt that they needed to beat Luton the other night and couldn't get it done. At Luton, they probably felt they needed.
And that was the ideal outcome come that time. Yeah, it was buzzing with a point with a goalless draw there.
They probably felt they needed to beat you. They couldn't get that done, so they're probably feeling a little bit down as well. So, can really, drum home, the inevitability that looms over some of these clubs with a big performance. But you just need a big performance. It needs to be, win and you go above Hull. That's it. Win and you go above Hull, 6 points clear of the drop zone, and it just gives you that breathing room going into what is. After Villa, Burnley, Sunderland, then Luton, then Blackburn, then Wednesday. The running at the end is, away to Sheffield United, away to Norwich, super tough games.
Yeah, exactly. And we got to focus on ourselves as well. We can't.
It's in your hands. You
exactly.
don't need to rely on anyone else. It's in your own hands, and that's where you want your fate. You want it in your own hands. Delivering. The likes of Hull, Luton, Oxford, delivering those kind of games, and then be resilient against some of the other teams. And if you get a point at Ewood Park, or you get a point at the Hawthorns, that's fine. But it has to be coupled with 3 points when you're playing teams that are in around you. Otherwise, like you said, it's going to be really dodgy coming the end of the season.
Yeah, no, it absolutely will. And yeah, no, we can only hope now, as us as fans, and I'd like to sit here and it almost feels quite hypocritical for me to sit here and say that we need to be, when the home games come, we've got to pack that place out and make it a fortress. And it's difficult for me because obviously, it is difficult for me to be in those games where living in Stockholm and not being able to be part of that. It's so, again, you saw in the South Wales derby of how effective we can be as a 12th man. And if I was located there in Cardiff, then I'd be there week in, week out. And it's shit. I don't know. It feels a bit shitty for me to say, like, come on, get out. Get down to the Cardiff City Stadium. Cheer the boys on and just make that place fucking loud. Because it just, honestly, like I said, you always go back to the South Wales derby of how much of a difference that made, and look at the performance that it produced.
And yeah, look, Hull will be bringing a couple of thousand fans down. They'll be bringing a couple of thousand down. They'll be looking to be noisy, and it does have an impact. You only have to look at Bristol. Bristol were down in their droves, making a lot of noise, and was nowhere near at capacity. And it does have a big impact when all you can hear is that away end, and the moans and the groans are coming from the home end. So, if you can, get a decent sized crowd in there, make it loud, make it difficult. It's always I always feel that the Tuesday night games tend to have a better atmosphere anyway under the lights.
Yeah. It's hit and miss. It's hit and miss with Cardiff. It always times we do get a good crowd, but then you have the conflicting factor of it's a weekday late night game, and it's like, got to stay home with the kids or whatever. They're very hit and miss, but we can do it.
Yeah, well, yeah. Hopefully, certainly whenever I was, following a team and obviously followed Cheltenham for a lot of years when I was younger.
Many moons ago.
Those Tuesday night games I always loved. I always felt there was just a bit more spice in them.
Yeah.
The atmosphere was always goes up a few decibels, it being under the lights, and they're huge games, and you really need to make the most of them and take advantage. And being at home, certainly that 12th man can be a big one. But yeah, let's hope that next week we're talking about a really strong league performance, and then whatever happens in the FA Cup happens. But who really gives a fuck?
Villa get battered.
I mean,
No.
it's a day out, great party, but
I'm just hoping that after I just hope that the FA Cup highlights aren't on Pornhub by the end of it. So let's put it that way. I mean, I didn't. Moving on, I didn't. I'm not going to lie. Didn't really watch any Premier League over the weekend. I saw a few results, a few surprising ones like Arsenal West Ham stood out. Obviously, you had the Everton United draw. I was more thinking about what we were talking about last week regarding Football Manager. Now, yesterday, funny enough, I actually I live streamed for the first time in 2025. Played Football Manager, and I took over. I ended up starting unemployed. Ended up in Belgium for a B team. Very, very different kind of save, I must say.
it must be, yeah.
Because you're honestly, all I did at the end, like, I was trying to sort of like assess my squad, like, okay, which areas do I need to like, focus on, like building. Discovered didn't have a budget. I went, never mind. This is what we've got to put up with. But as a B team, you get to actually pinch players who are needing match fitness and are not getting minutes in the first team, and so I'm just quick picking every game, and it was giving me like some, I don't know, it got me brainstorming a little bit in terms of how we could prepare, we could potentially bring a similar sort of journey to the football booth to talk about at the end. And I was thinking, do we go somewhere else in Europe, or do we keep it UK based?
Well, like I said, I'm happy to kind of stick everything into a wheel and then spin it and see where we land. Right, so we've got all five. There's obviously other ones that we could add in, but I think North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa is pretty. That's pretty grand, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I don't know how well this will work, but I'm gonna try and.
I feel like I'm gonna have to Google the team as well. Oh, here we go. Oh, look at this. Oh.
So the names are in. Okay.
Here we
so
go.
There can be. We're gonna click to spin.
Right, spin. So is this for you or for me first?
This is where we're both going.
Oh, we're both going. All right. Right, we're both going to Europe.
Right. Well, that was a bit shit, wasn't it? Could have been anywhere in the world, and we've landed in fucking Europe.
Oh, here we go. The wheels back up.
Right.
Here we
spin.
go. Where are we ending up? We are ending up in Monge 2.
Okay. So France, which is grand.
So excited about that.
I don't think I've ever been in France.
I did a Bordeaux save this past year. Well, last year even.
Right. So now the question is, where do you want to just start in Ligue 1?
Yeah, let's just go Ligue 1.
Right. So there's 18 teams.
I think we should leave PSG out of it, though.
Right, I'm going to leave out PSG, Marseille, Nice, Lille, Monaco, and Lyon.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So the wheel is ready.
The wheel is ready.
So
who we pick? Is it going to be you? You first.
As I'm hosting, I'll let you go first.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
So this is for you.
Please don't give me Nantes. Don't give me Nantes. AJ Alzer.
Currently,
I wouldn't clap 11th. That, to be honest.
Currently 11th. So let's now get. Has it got rid of him? Itself? It's very smart of it.
They take it out.
So let's go.
Oh, Ren would be a good one to get. And Mayhem, you have got All right, okay. I mean,
Um,
he doesn't look too pleased, but
currently 17th in the league. So
so there we go.
that is the starting
There we go.
team. Le Havre
Le
and
Havre and Auxerre.
Oz. Yeah. See, we can update on that. Obviously, we'll screenshot and load up, and then I think we'll try it out. If we say what five, we'll play our first 5 games
Yeah,
of the season. We'll come back and we'll see if how manageable that was.
yeah.
Obviously, with life, we're so far away from FM 26 anyway, where we can do all that again and discuss what parameters and blah blah blah. And then if we do 5 and that seems right, or maybe
Yeah.
it was pretty easy and we think 10 is a better way to go. Um, I think what we should do now is set some rules,
Okay.
because we all know that FM, once you played it for a little while, can become pretty easy.
Yeah.
Dethroning PSG won't be easy, but
Well, that'd be a challenge in itself.
um, so I think first rule. So
Okay.
I'll
How many? All right. Let's. Okay. Let's.
we'll say them, and then we've got about 5 minutes, and then we'll agree on what ones, and we can take it out, and then we can verbally agree on them. I think whoever finishes above, so say you finish above me, you pick one of my players, and I have to transfer list them.
Okay.
Okay.
I agree with that one. I
So
agree with that one.
whoever finishes higher in the league, they say that they pick a player that you have to transfer list, and you have to sell them. So if you get to the end of the deadline, you've transfer list them for 20 and you're getting £12 million. There's an hour to go. Bang, you've got
Bang.
to
Get rid of them.
take
Yeah.
them.
Okay.
I think we should probably set a limit as to how many players we can sign,
Mhm.
but I think it's also, I think it will take a little bit of fiddling around with. So I think probably if you sell someone, you should be able to replace them, because that makes sense. But in terms of like brand new additions where you're just signing people, I think we probably need to see what shape the squad's in. But I think 5. So so you can sign 5 people without selling, but in
Okay.
order to sign another one, you would have to sell in order to facilitate that. Um, I don't think money is going to be too much of an issue at the start, and as we progress on, if this goes on multiple seasons, then um, we can look at that. Staff is staff. Right? You could set it that your director of football employs everyone, but it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I usually place adverts for my staff
Yeah, that's
just to
normally.
spice it up instead of actually soul searching for
It's
physios and scouts and
yeah,
coaches, whatever.
it's also a fucking long, drony process of going
Yeah,
out and
it
trying to
is.
find. So that's normally what I do as well, mate. I just place adverts and employ normally whatever name I like best.
Yeah. I mean, the only other rule that sort of came to mind was, I don't know, transfers, domestic players only.
So within France,
So within France, or would that be too anal?
I don't know. You're probably gonna have a bigger database than me, just because of the PC that you're running on. So you're probably gonna
Probably, yeah.
gonna be domestic. I think we should be sensible with transfers. I mean, this far into FM24, we could just go and pinch someone that we know in 5 years is going to
Mm.
be absolutely
I've
ridiculous.
got someone in mind, don't
So I think be sensible with it. There's no point in hoovering up wonder kids, and it's not a network save as well. So what we want to kind of avoid doing is signing the same people, obviously. Um,
Yeah. Oh, actually, we could potentially make that a rule then. If
Yeah, I think that makes sense. There's no point in having the same player, and
Yeah,
the
no,
worlds are
exactly.
going to
Yeah,
move. The worlds are going to move dynamically anyway. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. We can add and chop rules
yeah, yeah.
as we
We can
go
all
along.
yeah we can always change things up. So the three rules were what was it? Maximum of 5 signings.
Yep,
That is like excluding like selling, buying to replace.
yep,
Can't sign the same players,
yep. And then
and
whoever finishes above, you
has to
you pick a player
yeah.
from that person's squad to sell, and they must be sold. Um, to spice it up, and we will insert that at the end, and I'll grab some screenshots and send them across to you. So that I'll probably just email them to you, so that
Sounds good.
you
Sounds
can
good. We get that rocking and rolling this week then.
indeed. I
Happy
mean,
days.
literally in real life, it could only have been worse if I'd have landed on Montpellier. So looks fun.
Looks all right, doesn't it? Never
That,
managed them.
that
Well,
looks
we better
interesting.
wrap things up. It is past 9 o'clock, which means I'm definitely wearing my testicles as earrings tonight. But Mayhem, thank you as always for joining me this evening. Looking forward to next week, and hopefully it's it'll be an interesting episode. I can highly anticipate that. Just don't know if it's going to be good or bad, but we'll wait and see. Ladies and gents, thank you very much for tuning in. If you are new to the Football Booth podcast, you can check us out on all audio platforms, including Spotify, Apple, and Audible. If you're watching us over on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, ring that bell for notifications. Until next time, ladies and gents, I bid you all good night and a star.